Good afternoon, and welcome to today's training on how to connect with customers and manage your business remotely. My name is Marquita Gooch, and I am the Assistant Director for Technology and Training and the Marketing Coordinator for the Clayton County Library System. In addition to that super long title, I am also a small business owner, and yes, I use many of Google's resources to help manage my small business. Today, our organization has partnered with Grow with Google to provide this training. In addition, Google is also providing free tools and resources you can use to stay connected when you are working remotely. You can find them at grow.google/remote work. That link will be posted in the chat momentarily. Before we get started, I'd like to take a moment to mention why this series of classes is important and a little different from previous courses. These courses are being presented as part of a Grow with Google grant the library received courtesy of the Georgia Public Library Service State Agency. With the grant funds, the library purchased items to build an entrepreneur in a bag kit. As you can see on screen, each bag comes with several items that can aid in the processes of running a small business on the go. Details about how the kits circulate are forthcoming, but as registered participants in this course, you get priority access. Okay, let's begin.
All right, hello everybody. My name is Deming Bass. I'm your official Grow with Google trainer here, and I'm excited to be part of this virtual conference for America's Small Business Development Centers. I have to say, as you'll see in just a second, I was a chamber executive for almost 20 years, and I've worked with SBDCs all over the country, and I absolutely love the work that you guys do, especially these past few months. And you guys have become experts in paycheck protection program and all sorts of things that you thought maybe you never thought you would be involved in. But anyways, I just want to say, having worked with small businesses through our Grow with Google team, how much we all appreciate the great work that you're doing. Today, this webinar is going to be really useful for you guys in a number of ways. Number one, we're going to cover, how can you communicate really critical, really urgent information to your customers when you have things that happen. You have a disruption like we've had the past couple of months. How can you keep that communication going? We're also going to jump in and show you how can you continue to communicate and work with your employees and also your customers from remote locations. And then finally, I've got some great little hacks and great little tips that it's going to be fantastic for you to share with the folks that you advise on how can they be more productive and how can they be more efficient when it comes to working remotely, and all of these with some great free tools from Google. So with that, I want to thank you guys for letting us participate, and also let you know that if you want to find out any more information, you can go down here to grow.google/remote work, and this will do a little bit of a deep dive and a refresher into everything that I'm going to cover today. So with that, let's go ahead and jump in. Just a little bit about me, if you're wondering who I am, I'm Deming, the bald guy with the beard, and I've been a Grow with Google trainer since 2017. As I mentioned, I was a chamber executive in the Research Triangle of North Carolina, Raleigh and Cary, and then down here in Metro Atlanta, Gwinnett County, Cobb County, if you're familiar with that. Also, you're probably familiar with Constant Contact, the email marketing company, and I was their Southeastern marketing director for 4 years. And I've trained now over 25,000, it's probably like 27,000 small and medium-sized businesses and nonprofits. And the fun little tip for me is I've got two amazing twin daughters that are 11, and we all have the same birthday, which is kind of cool, May 11th. So that's a little bit about me, but let's jump into the presentation. This is the agenda that I'm going to cover today. There's 4 different areas. First, we're going to jump in and talk about how do you update really critical information? So imagine right now, but this is also for the future, but right now when we're going through everything with COVID-19 and the pandemic, there are a lot of businesses that have had to close. There are a lot of businesses that are still closed. Some are operating in different hours. So how can you let your customers, especially locally, know that through a Google My Business profile? And if you're not familiar with that, I'll explain what it is, kind of touch high level on how you can create that. Then we'll give you some tips on what those people need to know, those businesses and nonprofits need to know about updating on their website. Then we're going to jump in and we're going to show you some free tools from Google that allow business owners of all sizes to continue and to work with teams through Google Meet, and also a good little hack with Gmail that you probably hadn't thought about. And then finally, we're going to jump in and show you how can you access your files remotely if you're working from home, if you're traveling on a plane, if you're anywhere in the world, and how can you access those files from whether it's your desktop, your laptop, or even your smartphone. And then stick around because we've got some great next steps, and we've got some really, really cool resources that are going to be of tremendous value, I think, for you and also for all those clients and businesses that you help with. So Whenever you're getting started, whenever you're going to be working in any of Google's products, number one, you do have to sign into your account. So the way that you sign into a Google account, and by the way, a Google account, if you're wondering, what is that? A Google account is your Gmail, right? Your Gmail is usually your username, and then you have your password. So the Google account is free to sign in. You go up here in the top right corner, and you just click the sign in button. Once you do that, it's going to ask you to either sign in with your email or username and your password. If you don't, or people don't have a Google account, they can always create one down here. Just click create an account. It's absolutely free. And the other option that you have, you can go to this link over here, accounts.google.com/signup. And this is where maybe a company, maybe somebody already has a business email that they want to use as that account. They can set that up as well. But once you're logged into the Google account, basically what that does, that allows you to go in and out of all of Google's products, from Gmail to Calendar to Docs to Sheets to Google My Business, you name it. You can go in and out without having to log in and log out every single time. So you're signed into your Google account. And now, what are some of the best ways that you can update the people, your customers, and your employees with really critical business information when you have these times of disruption, or basically any time? And there's two important updates that we're reminding people now, and we're going to give you some specific recommendations as we go through this. The first is through your Google My Business profile, and I'll jump in and I'll explain what that is if you're not familiar with it. And then, of course, you want to make these changes and these updates to your website when people come to your website. So let's jump in. Let's talk about a Google My Business profile and how you can take advantage of that, especially right now during the pandemic. So a Google My Business profile is basically what you see right here. This is what it looks like. If you go on a smartphone, Google My Business profiles are basically where a business or a nonprofit, if they have face-to-face interactions with customers, for example, if you have an office or you have a storefront where people are going to visit you, you would have this, you're eligible for this. And if you're a business, maybe you work from home, you don't want people visiting you, or maybe you don't have an office, but you do go out and you meet with your customers face-to-face in meetings, you meet them for coffee, you're a consultant, maybe you're a landscaper, you're a plumber, you would also be eligible for these profiles. And these profiles basically show up when people are searching for you locally in a local area on the search page. So this is really, and you get to create, or your business, your clients and the businesses, they get to create and manage all of this information that you see right here. So everything from, you can click to call, you can actually schedule and book appointments. You'll have a description of who they are. They can have their photos, their videos, they can have posts. They'll put in their address, and now they show up on Google Maps and people can get directions, and their hours of operation. And of course, customers can leave reviews as well. All of this is absolutely free. Anybody can go, if they have those face-to-face interactions, and create one down here at google.com/business. That's where you would go create. Then Google will verify that they're a real business. But I'm going to go through these different ways now that you can actually get that information out by using Google My Business profile. And again, when you think about the profiles, the reason you want to have that Google My Business profile is because when people are searching locally, they don't always want to go to a website, right? Think about when you've done search. A lot of times it's local, and you just want to know, especially right now, hey, is that business open during COVID-19? Or are they doing takeout? Are they doing delivery? Or how do I get there, right? And you just want to do that quick search, get that quick phone number, make that quick call. That's an example of how Google My Business works and how it's a benefit in addition to the website. So the first thing that you're going to want to do with your Google My Business profile is each profile has a business description. And you'll see it's fairly short. There's only 750 characters. This is where, when they're creating it for the first time, they want to go in and you want to write out exactly what it is that you do, how you're different from other businesses, and how you solve the problems or how you help your customers. This really isn't a place where you would want to put in sales information. You could put some information about products and services. But for times like now, and with the pandemic and when crazy things are happening, it's a great way for you can go in and edit this so that you have language like this that talk about what the precautions that you're taking. Maybe you're temporarily closed, but you can still do business online, visit our store, things like that. So this is a great way to get one great way to get that message out. Another thing that you do when you create your first profile is you go in and you want to put in your business hours of operation. So you're going in and you're going the days of the week you're open, the times of the day you're open, and you also go in for special hours. I'll talk about that for a second. But now, if those hours have changed, maybe you're not working the full hours, you're going to want to go in and make sure that you've updated that. So again, when people are looking quickly about your business, they know maybe you're only working from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And so you don't want people showing up at 4 or 5 thinking that you're still open if those hours have not been updated. You also have the ability to update special hours. So again, this is a best practice that we share with everybody. When you first go in and you're doing your regular hours of operation, you want to go to all those holidays, right? We just had Labor Day. In this case, we got Christmas Eve coming up, you got Thanksgiving, right? Are those days, are you open at any point during those days? So when you check those off and you put in those hours, it'll confirm those hours so that you make sure that you don't leave anybody out, or there's no question that you're going to be open. Also, when you go in, and again, you can go in and play around with your Google My Business profile, we've also added options for more hours, where once you have your basic hours in place, with the more hours, now you can offer the special hours. For example, if you have hours for takeout, or if you have hours for delivery, or special senior hours, and I like a lot of grocery stores have those early in the morning. You're going to want to publish posts. And this is one of the most overlooked but most beneficial features of Google My Business Profile during normal times, but this is perfect for right now. With posts, you can basically post a message. And again, this is all showing up in your profile on the search page with an image or up to a 30-minute video. And you can have a call to action that you can be selling a product. You can sell a product or a service or update people with information. In this case, we're recommending that people use that post feature to, again, update everybody and let them know how they're changing, how they're doing business. Hopefully now, or when you're watching this, some of the places are starting to open again. So hopefully this message is, hey, we're excited to let you know that we're going to resume regular hours on October 1st, right? But posts are a great way to get your message out. This is a couple of examples of what those posts look like. This one over here on your left, this is a what's new post. So this is where you would update people in normal business. It could be you're hiring, you're moving, you're opening a new location, you've got a new product that you're rolling out. In this case, this example here, you can see they have the image of the gift certificate, and then they have the message here that while their doors are temporarily closed, their business is open, letting people know you can order your products online. We offer fast free shipping, and then they have their call to action button, which says order online right there. That's a what's new example. You can also promote events. So, of course, a lot of people that were doing things in person. So in this case, if you are a massage place or whatever, maybe you're a yoga studio where you used to do it in person and now you got to do it virtual. Well, this is just an example over here where they set an event and they're promoting this event. And now you can learn more and you can book online virtual. In this case, it's a virtual facial party. Another great tool that you'll want to take advantage of now that can make it easy is setting up text messaging so that people, again, right from the search page, not having to go to your website, they can simply click message and send you a text. So the way that you do that, number one, you need to have your Google My Business app, which is free. So basically the business owner would go, just look up Google My Business, whether it's in the App Store or on Google Play, download it. Once it's on your phone, you can go in and set up text messages that you see here, and you can go ahead and have your automatic greeting that'll be there to greet people when they text you. But this is great, especially for people that can say, hey, can I come? Are you open tomorrow at 2? Or can we set up a meeting tomorrow at 3? And you can immediately text back and set that up as well. Don't worry, they're not going to see your phone number, so they're not going to stalk you if you're the business person. But again, this is just another way to make communication with your customers easy when you can't see them face to face. And This is also a great tool if any of you guys out there, your audience is, your target audience are millennials, right? Because we know they just don't want to talk on the phone. They just want text all the time. So messaging is a great tool as well. Now, one of the great things about this, sometimes, as we know, the folks we work with, those business owners, especially the small business owners, they're wearing so many different hats, kind of like you probably these past few months too, right? And it's crazy. And so they're listening to all this and they may not have time to make all these updates or to do all of this. Well, you can always go in and you can add other managers in the business to help make these updates. So basically what you do is you go to the users, in this example, this is on the smartphone, but you click on manage users, you go up to the top right with the little plus button there, and all you do is hit plus to add. You type in the person's email, and they'll get an email that will let them know now they can make edits. You can also, if you look down here on the bottom right, you can select the role that you want to assign those people. The owner role is most likely going to be you as the business owner or whoever created or owns the company. That's where you can do anything, including shutting down the profile or transferring ownership to somebody else. Then below that, you've got managers, and managers can basically do pretty much everything except shut it down or transfer ownership. And then site managers that you see down here, this is where you can limit what you want that person to do. So for example, you may have like a communications manager, somebody that does your marketing, and you may not want them to do everything, but you may say, hey, I want you to upload photos to our profile, and I want you to, be able to edit the description, right? Or add posts, and you can set whatever level you want. Another feature that we added in response to everything going on with COVID-19 to make it as easy as possible for those businesses that were affected is we have this label that they're able to add to their profile that says mark as temporary close. So what will happen is if you are temporary closed, but you're going to be opened again, you can basically go into the info section. And by the way, this is an example of what the dashboard looks like once you have it updated and verified, and you can see everything you'd want to do over here on the left-hand side. But you'd click on the info section and you would go over to a section that talks about closing the business. You click on that and this option will open up. You click on mark as temporarily closed. And what that does is then immediately on your profile, under your business, instead of the hours of operation and the days of the week and all of that, it's just going to have in red, temporary closed. And then as soon as you open up the business again, you can uncheck that and go back to business as usual. But this is great because, again, you don't want customers driving to your place or trying to contact you or trying to go places that you're not even open. Those are just a couple of ways that you can use your Google My Business profile, which is a great way to immediately connect with customers before they ever even come to your website. But obviously, you want to remind your clients and businesses that they also need to make these updates and be as transparent as possible on their website. So it's always a good idea to share announcements and share. So this is an example right on the homepage, and you've seen this as you've gone to websites since we've been affected by COVID-19. But right here on the front, you can see, and you can even use this language if you want, about how things have changed and where they can click to read more about that. Another thing that you're going to want to do is go through and look and make sure you analyze all of the products and services that you do and see if there have been any changes into how you do business with those products and services, and just make sure you're very clear about how those changes have occurred and kind of what's going to happen moving forward. Make sure you're very clear about operational changes. Making sure people know it's safe to come in. Here's all the different ways that we're making sure that it's safe for our customers to interact with us. Provide contact information wherever possible. And at the end of the day, this is a time to assure customers that, again, you're other than how you're doing business, it is business as usual. You've got some amazing products and services. And also really take some time to think about, what are those questions that your customers will have as it relates to your product or service and as it relates to COVID-19, and just make sure that you do a really good job of explaining all of that on your website. And that's going to help build that customer loyalty and really show competence for your business or your nonprofit. All right, so that covers, if you apply some of those things, you're going to be able to communicate really great critical information really fast. Now I want to jump into, because so many of us have had to close up shop and we've had to start working from home. And if you're like me, working from home, then you got kids that are doing virtual school, it's kind of crazy too, right? But we want to show you and give you some tips and free tools of how you can communicate regardless of where you are with your employees and with your customers. One of those is Google Meet. Now, you may or may not be familiar with this, but this is our product for video conferencing. My guess is a lot of us have become experts at webinars and video conferencing, whether it's Meet or Zoom or GoToWebinar, any of those things out there. But this is Google's tool that allows you to have those video meetings on any device, whether it's a smartphone, a tablet, a desktop. And right now, depending on when you're watching this, but right here at the conference is bumping up right with this date, but they're offering advanced features that are available for G Suite customers, absolutely free through September 30th. Basically, those include hosting meetings for up to 250 participants. You can record those meetings, and then all the meetings and recordings are encrypted. I think one of the real strengths for Google Meet, as you look at it compared to some of the other products out there, is the security. You probably heard about some issues in the news with some other folks, but we have incredibly secure and incredibly encrypted everything, including the recordings. If you're a security geek and you want to know more about that, you can go down here in look at the bottom left, and you can go to g.co/meet/secure connections. And that's where you can read and find out more details about that. Just real quickly, because there is a free version and then the business version. The free version is you can have maximum number of up to 100 participants. So this is going to cover most of your small businesses, and so they can do this for free. The maximum duration for the meeting, though, is limited to 1 hour. You can join from your desktop browsers or on your phone on the mobile apps, but you can't record, and there's no live stream, but it's free. Then the business version, you get the 250 hours or 250 number of participants. You can have, if you want, a 300-hour meeting maximum, but I would recommend not doing that. And you can join from your browser or your mobile apps. You can record the meetings. You can have the live stream. And again, people can try that out for free on November or through September 30th. So what are the biggest benefits? Why would you want to use Google Meet? And you probably experienced this with your own chapters or with companies. But there is, it's impossible to replace face-to-face interaction. And I mean real human face-to-face interaction. Can't replace that. But the next best thing, as you've learned, is having that face-to-face people to see and talk to people and kind of read the body language. And so it really does help people feel connected when they're working remotely. They still feel like they're part of a team if you have those weekly meetings. Also, it's a great tool to use anytime you have any type of brainstorming ideas with your team. It's really good for scheduling the remote client consultations. And I will tell you this, and you've heard, some people are getting burned out on this, which obviously if you're doing this all the time, that makes sense. However, I do think we're going to see a change in how people do business. And I think you are going to see people doing more of client consultations via video than they did before because they didn't have to. But now they can see, I've got a couple of meetings right now with a couple groups of folks. We used to go travel to them. Now we're just doing it remotely, and I love it because I don't have to get in the car, I don't have to drive, I get to save all that time. So I do think you're going to see more of this moving forward. I think it is going to be part of the new normal that you hear everybody talk about. And then, of course, it's a great way if you want to have any sort of teach online classes or any sort of virtual training as well. So how do you join a Meet conference? And let's walk through some of the features. Well, if you want to just create a Meet right now, when you're done with this webinar, you're like, I'm going to do a Meet. You can definitely go simply to meet.google.com and do that, or you can schedule it through your Google Calendar. So if you want to do it right now, again, it's real simple. You basically just go to meet.google.com. screen pulls up and you can join, click the join to start a meeting. Now, the thing about, you may have been thinking about this because it's a Google product, but anybody can join a Google Meet. They don't have to have that Google account I talked about earlier, but the host will have to give them access when they're coming into the meeting. The other thing to keep in mind is you do have to be logged into your Google account if you do want to access a Google Meet from your smartphone. But otherwise, you don't have to be in a Google account to log in from a tablet or a desktop. Now, if you want to schedule a meeting, you want to do one a little bit later on or later this week or later in the month, the option is to use your Google Calendar. So you can create and send invites out to anybody from your calendar. So all you do is you just double click that date and the time that you want to have your meeting. You go in, you create the name of the meeting, and then down here, you're going to see this option that says add video conferencing. You click on that and it will give you the option to join with Meet. The other thing down here, you want to click on the more options button. And what that is going to do, that's going to allow you can add more copy, maybe an agenda for the meeting. That's also where you can simply start adding in the emails of the people that you want to invite to the meeting. When you click save, everybody's going to get that invitation for the meeting. This is what that email will look like. And you can see they can go in and they have the option in their email to click yes, they're going to come, maybe, or no. They also in that email can click here later on to join the meet. And the really cool thing about this is as they're clicking yes, maybe, no, when you go back into your calendar invite and you go in and look at it, you'll see in real time as the people are signing up. So you're going to see who's coming to the meeting or not. And then to join the meeting, to start the meeting, all you do, you just go back into your calendar and you just click join with Google Meet and your folks that you're inviting, they're going to have that same way to sign in as well. They can also click on the join with Google Meet button in the email invitation that you sent out to them as well. So what do they look like? Well, again, the great thing about this can happen on smartphones, tablets, and desktops. When you're ready to join the meeting, you click the button that says join the meeting. So just a quick run through on some of the features and what they look like. And if you're familiar with some of the other products out there, very similar, right? This is an example of what it would look like if we have 9 people participating in the meeting. They all have their camera on. If they don't have their camera on, you would see either their image, they have a photo for their Google account, or maybe just their initials of their name. But down here at the bottom, you can mute your microphone so they can't hear you. So you would click on that gray microphone. It would become red with the strike through, kind of like what you see over here on the left. That's muted. Right now, they can hear me talk. Also, you can have your camera on or off. So when you click on your camera, they can see me. When it's red, they can't see me, or you see a mark through, and that means that your camera is not on. You'll see, you can tell when other people, it's Spencer over here to the left, in that left-hand column, you can see his microphone is red with the mark through. That means he is muted himself, and we've all experienced this, right? So when we see Spencer when we're talking, we say, hey, Spencer, we have a question for you. What do you think about where we should go out this Friday? And if Spencer goes, and we can't hear him, we know he's muted. So we're like, Spencer, you're muted. Got to unmute yourself, right? So that's how you do that. So he would click on that, unmute himself. The other thing up here in the top right is chat. So you may have cases where people want to share a document, or they want to share links or information, or maybe they want to type out a question for the whole group, but they don't want them to talk about it, but just type it out and send it to everybody. You would just simply click on the chat option feature up here, and that's where you would be able to do that. When you're hosting a meeting, anybody has the chance, they can present their screen. So if anybody has a presentation, you simply go down here to the bottom, hit present now, and then you'll have the option, do you want to show your entire screen on your computer? Maybe you just want to show the window of the slides that you're working in, the sheets or the docs. And then you also have the option to show Chrome tab, and this is going to be the best for your video and animation, is showing that Chrome tab. You also have the option of not only hosting the meeting, but then you can record the meeting. So if people weren't able to make it, especially if it's some sort of training and it's really important, all you would do is just at the very beginning, you would go into the settings up here to record meeting, click on it, and it will record. And again, one of the big strengths of Google Meet is the security feature. The recording is completely secure and encrypted. And then you can share that with people that were not able to make it to the meetings. A couple of best practices when you are in a meeting or hosting a Google Meet. Number one, make sure you have make a really good impression. So you typically want to keep your camera on. When you don't have your camera on, they don't know what you're doing, or maybe your camera's on for a little bit, then it goes, you turn it off, and then they're wondering, is that person paying attention? So as much as you can, make sure you keep that camera on so they can see that you're focused and you're listening, actively listening to what it is they have to say. You're going to want to choose a neutral background whenever possible. You don't want it to be distracting. You can see with me, it's fairly neutral. I mean, you have some stuff happening back here, but the key is you don't want it to be cluttered. And, you know, we all do this, right? We've been on so many of these meetings. You can't help, if we're being honest, when somebody's on there, you're looking behind them, you're checking out their house, and you're you can be very distracting because you're trying to figure out, you know, little cool things in the background. So as much of a neutral background as possible is good. Make sure, a lot of times your computer is going to be good enough, your computer microphone, but you may want to have an external microphone that it's going to have a little bit better sound quality. I have one right over here. Right here. I don't know if that sounds any better, but a lot of times your external microphone is going to give you a little bit better sound quality. And then mute your microphone when you're not speaking. We've all had that happen, right? Somebody has not muted their microphone and they're crunching, they're eating something, their dog's barking, their kids are screaming. We don't want to hear that. This can be distracting as well. And then have solid color clothing. Always looks best when you're on camera. So you want to avoid any types of stripes or patterns. So I have my really super cool Grow with Google shirt on. But again, solid colors always look the best. All right, so now I want to show you, when it comes to communication, I want to show you a little tip that with a tool you are probably familiar with, but you probably didn't think about using it this way. So how can you create almost an autoresponder email that's going to help get that message out about how you're doing business differently during the pandemic? And it's basically using the Gmail, using the out of office feature. Now, a lot of you have probably used this for the vacation autoresponder, but you can use the same tool to get an auto response out consistently again and again. So you can use this, for example, frequently asked questions about how to do business with you now, any sort of updates and changes. So to use this feature, basically, this is your Gmail account, right? You're going to go up to the top right corner. You see the little gear icon. You click on the gear, drop down menu comes. You want to click on settings. When you click on settings up here in the top left, under settings, you'll see general. Go to general and scroll down to where it says vacation auto responder. You come over here, you check on vacation responder. You want to add the first day that you want it to start, and then you can add the last day when you want it to stop, or you can just keep it running. Make sure you have a very clear subject line that clearly indicates what you're trying to communicate, and then you can add your text down here. So again, question and answer, hey, can I still buy from you? Are your hours the same? Or are they different? And this is a great way to get that message out as well. When you click save changes, it will save all those changes and it'll automatically start working. Now, while we're working, so many of us are working remotely, you may have struggled with this, or sometimes companies struggle with this, is how can I access files anywhere and from any device? So one of the great things about Google is Google Drive. Google Drive is basically allows all of Google's products that you're working on, they're automatically saved in the cloud. So it's a cloud storage software that's, again, completely secure and encrypted. But anytime you're working on a document over internet connection, it's automatically saving it in the cloud. So the biggest benefit of this is if you've ever had that frustrating experience, you're working on like a Word document on your computer and then the computer crashes and you lose it and you've been working for days or hours on it. Has that ever happened? And then you spend more time trying to figure out, okay, where was the last autosave version of that? You spend more time. You could have just started over and probably finished, but you waste all that time. Has that ever happened? It is so frustrating. With Google Drive, when you're working online over internet connection, it's automatically saved. So you're never going to lose that information. It automatically saves. You don't have to go in and click save. So how do you access Google Drive? You simply go over here and you can see that you can access it up here in the top right of Google. Also, if you're in any of the apps like Gmail or Calendar, it's also going to be up here. But look for this little grid icon. You're going to click on that, and it's, as you see in this little demonstration, it pulls down a drop-down menu with a bunch of different apps. And you're going to want to click on the one that says Drive, and it's sort of the triangle here. Also, just so you know, the apps that are showing up in here, these are going to be the ones at the top are the ones that you most frequently use or have used last. But you simply click on that, click on Drive, and then you're ready to go. When you click on the Drive, this is what your Drive looks like. And one of the biggest benefits of this too is how you can upload any file of any type into your Google Drive. It doesn't have to be a Google product. It doesn't have to be Google Doc. You can upload Microsoft Word documents, your PowerPoint, your Excel spreadsheets. You can upload PDFs. You can upload photos, videos, and a lot more. And when you load it, the way that you load it, you can actually just click on it, drag it to your drive, or up here in the top right corner, you can just click File, Upload, and upload it here. So all your documents now are in this, in your drive, and again, they're saved forever on the cloud. As you add your items in here, you're also going to want to create folders so that you can organize and remember how to get all that different information. And then the beauty is you can be in here editing it in Google Docs or whatever. And then if you want to save it back, you want to convert it back into a Microsoft Word document or a Google slide into a PowerPoint or Google Sheets into a Excel sheet. You can do PDFs. You can do all that as well. So any type of file into Google Drive, and you can convert any type of file in Google Drive and download that onto your computer. Now, this is some of the cool hack stuff that you probably didn't know about, but you're going to see very quickly how this can make you work collaboratively and really become more productive. This is where you're able to share in real time or comment and assign and literally work on the same documents in real time with anybody in the world, as long as you both have an internet connection. And let me explain why this is so cool. How many times have you worked on a document and you're working with a team of people, and maybe you need them to edit it or add comments, and so you're working in like a Word document, and then you're trying to track the changes, and then you're saving it as version 1, then you email it over and say, hey, Sharon, can you take a look at this, or give me your thoughts, or make your edits? And she goes in, she does that, she saves it as, adds the date, and saves it as version 2, and then emails it back to you. Have you ever done that? Think about how much time is invested in that and how many versions get out there, and then there's always that chance something's going to slip through the crack. So what I love about this is because it's all in the cloud and it's saved right there in real time, you can share your document with anybody, and they can come in and they can be literally, you'll see them making edits while you're making edits, and they may be halfway across the world making edits in real time while you're making edits. The way you do that is you go up here in the top right and you click on the share button, and you just simply add their email address, and then you can select what capabilities you want to give them. You can have it where you just want them to view it, and that's it. Don't want you to touch it, mess with it, but you can view it. Maybe I want you to comment on it, but I don't want you to edit. And then maybe I want you to edit. So I want you to be able to go in and edit. So you're able to do that. The other cool thing you can do is add comments and assign it to specific people in real time. So what I mean by that is we're looking at a Google Doc that says team meeting the 27th, right? So this is an agenda. And down here under item number 4, you can see it says retirement of Wendy Ryder. And then it says, have we started looking for her replacement? That was a question, right? So maybe as I'm working on this, I'll highlight that statement because I want to find the answer to it. And then you'll come up here to this little plus icon, which is the add comment button. You click on it, it'll bring up a little drop-down menu, and you can type in the question or the comment that you want to make on that, what you've highlighted. Then, don't just stop there. You can then add, and go down here and you'll see it. You can add just a plus in the person's email address or an @ symbol in the email address with the comment, click enter and send, and it will send that person an email that lets them know, hey, they've got a comment in this document. In that email, they can click and go immediately to the document, and then they can respond. So you can see this is a great example of that happening. We've got Randy who highlighted it, added a plus. Pamela, we blocked out the rest of the email, but it says, we started to look for a replacement, sent the email to her, sent that at 3:58. She responded at 4:02. I have 2 good candidates. I'll bring their resumes to the meeting, right? So isn't that pretty cool? So you can see how you can collaborate in real time. It's going to save so much time for you and frustration, I think. And then the other really cool thing about all of this is you can save different documents and in fact, entire folders and send it to specific groups of people, individuals, or the whole world if you wanted to. So here's an example of maybe you have this big event, right? And you've got your agenda and you want to send your agenda out to everybody that's been part of the planning process. Well, you simply go in and you just start typing in all the emails of the people you want to send it to. This edit button with the pencil, that's where you would edit, okay, I just want you guys to see the agenda. I'm just keeping you updated, but I don't want your comments and I don't want you to edit it. I don't want you to mess with it. It's just the agenda. It's FYI. So you can set it where all they can do is view. But then on the other hand, you may be working with your CFO or your controller, or maybe your volunteer, and you have the budget for the agenda and you want them to actually work on it. So you can share your sheet and you can put in the one individual that you want to see it and go into the edit and say, I want you to be able to edit it. So started a budget sheet for us, see where you can make the cuts. And then you hit send and then they're able to make those edits. And again, you have access to that all the time. The other great thing about when you're working with Google Drive is if you have the app, just like how we all go on our phones and we're checking the emails and the calendar, right? Well, you can download the Google Drive app and then you can share and edit and do all of this anywhere in the world as long as you're online and even when you're offline. And I'll show you how that works right here. So sometimes there may be places you're going, you're not going to have internet access for a while. Sometimes, even though on the planes, if you travel a lot like I do or did, sometimes the Wi-Fi is kind of sketchy. So if you know you're going to be working on a document and you know you're going to be offline, you can actually go in and if you're in the document, like you see here, just go up to File and scroll down and you'll see an option that says Make Available Offline. You click on that and then this is going to save it from out in the cloud to your device. Now it's important to remember, whatever you're going to be editing, whatever device you're going to use to edit it or work on it later, you've got to save it to that device. So if it's going to be your laptop, you want to save it on your laptop. If it's going to be your smartphone, you're going to want to go in, access the document, and then save it on your smartphone. But this is a great way to work on something offline, and then you can always upload it when you get back onto an internet or online connection later. All right, so we learned a lot so far. Good. All right. So now I'm just going to give you a couple of next steps or checklist of what we covered. And then I've got some really cool resources I want to share with you as well. So checklist. And again, think about this in terms of your clients, especially as we start working our way through the pandemic and hopefully start opening up business again. Number one, you want to update your Google My Business information with all of the changes and how you're doing business. Number two, and we really didn't jump into this, but it's a good reminder too, if you're running an ad campaign on Google Ads or any ad campaign, again, maybe, although we're kind of moving past it, but you may want to pause or modify your messaging for that. You're going to want to update your website info right there on the very front page and let people know what you're doing and how you're doing business differently. You want to use Google Meet, set up Google Meet. Again, it's free to connect with your employees and your customers. You want to update your Gmail vacation responder to answer some of the most frequently asked questions. And then start playing around with Drive and see how you can store files in the Drive and start working collaboratively in real time with people, with your employees and customers from all over the world. So a couple of great resources that you can proceed with that's going to be helpful kind of long after this webinar is over. If you wanted more tips on working remotely, you can go to our special website that we have here, grow.google/remote work. For anything related to small business. Again, this is tremendous value, tremendous resources here. You can go to g.co/small business. And then we also have some specific small business resources that you can see here and some of the news and the latest updates. So you can go to smallbusiness.withgoogle.com/news for some of the latest updates on how and new resources that we're rolling out literally every other week for small businesses. Now, if you're not familiar with Google Primer, this is definitely a must recommendation for any of your clients, anybody, whether they're just thinking of an idea to start a business, they've just started a business, or they've been in business for years, because what they've done here is just entertaining and informative. It's basically a free app that you can download on your phone, and it provides these really quick, bite-sized, 5-minute, easy lessons on your phone. So it's great. Just anytime you have a few minutes free, you can go through it, and it's fun. They can ask you questions, and they gamify it a little bit, and it covers everything. In fact, if you don't know the answer to a question that a client asks you, you can just say, "Hold on, I'll be right back." And then you go get the primer, you Google it, and then you find it in Primer, and then you come back, you can give them the answer. I've done that before. But it covers everything. It's not just marketing. It covers marketing, fundraising, customer service, pitching, business plans, everything. These are just a couple of the mini courses you can see people can take. Make your website work hard for your business. Get online with a strong business website, connecting with customers. So a lot of great tools here. Also, if you want to do this, or if you have clients that just want to do it, or I'm actually doing this with my daughters, getting them a head start. If you want to learn how to become really, really good with any of Google's professional tools, you can see here, we're talking anything, Google Ads, Google Analytics, YouTube, Ad Managers, Google My Business. You can go down here and see in the bottom left-hand corner, g.co/Skillshop. And this is where you can do a deep dive and build your skills that you can apply right away. And they have all sorts of sort of courses on there, and then you can become product certified. So this is a great way to become an expert on Google yourself. And then I love that we've started doing this, because since I do the live events and the webinars, and then what happens is afterwards people come to me and they have the real technical questions, and it's hard to explain a technical question about Google when it involves websites and computers unless we're in front of one on their website. So if you go down here to g.co/grow/quick help, we've begun putting together these great, really short videos so that you can learn how to use Google's tools. And it answers the most frequently asked questions that we get. And you can also learn about the newest features, but you'll see it. So instead of me talking to you and explaining how do you create a Google My Business profile, you'll see somebody going online in not real time, but real time when they were shooting it, taking you through all the steps that you need to know. And again, they do this with a variety of Google's products and services. So this is awesome too. Make sure you bookmark it or you share it with your clients. And then finally, just know that we here as part of the Grow with Google team, we're here to help you as partners in any way that we can. Our whole mission is to use the tools, the free tools, and use the knowledge and the data that we've collected so that we can help in this case, specifically small businesses grow their business because we're passionate about those businesses. If we can make them be better marketers by showing these tools or better and more effective at business by the ways that we talked about, hopefully they're going to be able to hire more people. They hire more people and it's going to improve their community. So that's why we and I, especially when it comes to businesses and nonprofits, really passionate about that. But you can go to our webpage, google.com/grow. Lots of great other resources for teachers in the classroom to help them bring the tools needed. Help students, there's coding. It's got my girls doing some coding stuff. Job seekers, helping them to build resumes and find the jobs that they love, and developers learning to code and getting certifications that's going to help them land their next job. So again, a lot of great resources here. We are here for you as America's Small Business Development Centers. We're really passionate about the work that you do. We're your biggest fans, and hope you guys enjoyed this webinar. Hope you're enjoying the conference. And just remember, you'll have access to this and you'll be able to share, help your clients. Number one, communicate that critical information that needs to get out there, especially right now. Number two, use these free tools that are available to you to communicate with people anywhere they are on any device. And number three, look at those ways through Google Drive that you can use a variety of products and services and collaborate in real time with, again, employees or customers from all over the world. Hope you found this webinar helpful, and definitely look forward to seeing you and my team, our team, seeing you guys when things get back to normal in person with some of our favorite partners from across the country. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign off.
Here are all the resources that were mentioned in today's presentation. You can check out these websites for more in-depth information on what was covered today. This concludes our 4-part series in the Grow with Google Entrepreneur in a Bag series. Stay tuned for more workshops next year. Have a great afternoon.